Hello, everybody. I know it's been a minute, but I am back with a garden video update here. Wanted to start off by showing my beautiful butternut squash that I harvested on yesterday. I'm so proud of this. Forgive me guys for my voice. I don't know what's going on. I sound so hoarse right now, but oh my gosh, it's bittersweet because I should have had two of these. And my next door neighbor, they hired somebody to come in to cut their grass. And while he was cutting the grass, he rolled over one of my vines and just clean took out one of my butternut squashes. So instead of ending up with two that look like this, I ended up with one. But I am still very happy about this butternut squash. It is of a very good size. I'm looking forward to eating it sometimes in the near future here. But all in all, I got over it. He was actually kind enough to pay me for my damages. So, it's not that big a deal. Which, as a gardener, I would have much rather had my butternut squash than to have the replacement money for another one or another pack of seeds or whatever. But anyway, this is the butternut squash that I harvested here. Super happy about that. I just wanted to get into some other things that I have going on. The area over here where I had the corn this year, everybody knows there's been a lot of bittersweet moments in the garden. Some things have been doing great, other things have just been like what is going on. A lot of restarts on a lot of things here. Like for instance, right, okra. Okra is supposed to just naturally just like do well and get tall. My okra plants have been really stunted this year. I don't have a single plant that's taller than 2 feet, and these are not dwarf okras. These are red burgundy okra plants. They are putting on flowers. I have harvested, a couple of fruits, but they just have not been growing very tall this year, and all of my plants are stunted like this. So I don't know what's going on there. The peanuts are looking great. I had such high hopes for this area, but outside of the peanuts, it hasn't really been doing that much. I even sowed some what I was hoping to be a success were what is this, bitter gourds, but the little plants, they're healthy, but I guess I can't say it hasn't been hot enough. They just did not do as well as I had hoped that they would have done. So they stayed very small. The real culprits in the garden this year have honestly been army worms, cutworms, slugs, snails, and roly-polies. These things have been taking out like the very hungry caterpillars, turning up the leaves on bean plants, just kind of tearing up any kind of beans I've been trying to grow. I think that I decided that this year was going to be my last year trying to grow bush beans. I just do not have a lot of success with bush beans, so I think I'm going to switch over to all pole beans on next year. But in this area, I have a Casper eggplant that is doing well right here. But all of these tomato plants here where I had the corn, these are all suckers that I rooted in water and then transplanted into the beds. I put a lot of composting in place, has become my absolute favorite thing. Outside of noticing that this just happened overnight, actually, a couple of these plants might need a little Epsom salt boost. They are doing wonderful. These were suckers, and it's only this one that is showing quite possibly magnesium deficiency, but I only just transplanted these a couple of weeks ago, and they already have grown so tall, and they have put on flowers, and they are getting ready to start fruiting. I have 5 suckers from my mystery tomato plants. I think that plant over there is either aroma or a beefsteak, but the other four are from my mystery tomato plant. And these suckers are doing so incredibly well. They're putting on all of these flowers. They're ready to produce again. Um, Something else here that I am super excited about is my sweet potato vines, but I'm not excited about them for sweet potatoes. I'm sorry, you guys. Of course, a train wants to come through right when I decide to do this video, so I'll try to speak louder. But I'm actually growing the sweet potato vines for the leaves. I plan on eating the leaves as spinach. So if I get some sweet potatoes, that's cool. But that's not the reason why I planted them. I had sweet potato in my kitchen that I had bought, and they started putting on their own uh, vines. I can't think of the word that I want to use, but I rooted them in water for about a week, and they got big enough. And I just put these out here on August the 20th, and it is September the 1st. When I first put these things out here, they were literally only maybe about 3 inches long. So between August the 20th and now September the 2nd, they have like quadrupled in size. They are growing so quickly. I don't know what's going on with this one. It might bounce back, maybe not. But these two are doing absolutely superb. So in about a month, multi-willing, my garden bed here will be sprawling with sweet potato vines where I can take the leaves off to eat them like spinach. So I am so excited about that. My Prescott Fond Blanc melon vines this year, I don't know what the hell is going on here. There is a melon there, but it's kind of deformed. I've been grappling with whether I should leave these or to take these up, but for now I'm going to leave them. Over here, another one of the tomato suckers that I was talking about that I rooted and transplanted. So happy with the way that they are growing. In here, I ended up putting a shishito pepper plant that I started from seed. Well, I started everything from seed this year, but this was the only one that I had, and I managed to keep it alive. So the patty pan squash wasn't doing well, pulled it up, transplanted a shishito pepper plant in there, and it is doing wonderfully well. Uh, Again, struggled with the squash I had planted in here, so I threw in some cucumber seedlings and some beans, and they are up, still coming up with the beans here, but they are nice and healthy and vigorous and doing well. Loving, loving, loving all of the marigolds down there. Another tomato sucker that I transplanted. This is a weird year for me. I had all of these early moonbeam watermelons planted in this bed, if you guys remember from earlier this year, but the vines just weren't doing well, so I pulled them, I replanted them. It's like, I don't know if we're going to end up with any early moonbeams. I will say that the two that I have growing here are growing very nicely, so I might end up with melons from these two vines. But outside of that, in this grow bag here, I have two sugar baby. I planted more sugar baby watermelon seeds. These two plants are doing really well in this bag together. Over here is a delicata squash. This plant is super healthy. I'm hoping to get another winter squash or some more winter squash. The extra butternut squash vine that I had that was in the tote where it was just too much going on, I took that out and I planted it in here, and this plant has actually been doing well. Outside of, it started to do some yellowing on the edges. I don't know if it's going to stay with me or not, but it has been putting on fruits, but because of all of the rain, by the time they open, they're too wet, so they're not getting pollinated. Like that one right there, I don't think it got pollinated. but then you can see there's a female flower right there, and then there's another one right behind there. So I don't know if I'm gonna get any more butternut squash, or this is just happiness for the bees right now. Either way, I am okay with it. I went ahead and started planting some fall crops. These are some radicchios that have popped up for me here. But a few days ago, I planted some radishes, and all of my radishes have popped up in here with this butternut squash. So I'm really happy about that. Over there behind the delicata squash, I planted some peas, but this was just a few days ago, so they're not up yet. Here I have peas, and if you look in there really closely, you can see the pea vines that are starting to come up. But I planted carrots, Scarlet Nantes carrots here in the front. Of course, those are going to take a little bit longer, but I do see the peas that I just planted a few days ago starting to pop up. This is some cilantro that I planted here. I replanted my white scallop squash here in this tire where I took out the Cocazelle. It got by squash vine borers, but that was the only plant that I've lost to squash vine borers this year. Everything else I think has just been because of the heat. Over here is where I replanted my yellow bush patty pan squash. These plants are doing well. This one right here is clearly excelling faster than this one here. And you know those mystery pepper plants that I was talking about, where I thought that they might have been like a Thai chili or something like that. I'm looking at that mushroom over there that popped up in that grow bag. This is not a Thai red chili. Come to find out, this is a red Bikino pepper. So all those little peppers, volunteer plants that I had, these are red Bikinos from last year, which I am not mad at whatsoever. They have started fruiting and flowering. A lot of them, I have 5 in total. This one has fruits. The other ones are starting to put on flower buds. And here I planted some turnips, again with the whole roly-poly slug situation, snail situation. I might get some, I might not. It's just life here, you know. But back to this area here, which I'm super excited about. If you see my previous videos, just from a couple of days ago, where I harvested my sugar baby watermelons, these vines were turning yellow. They had signs of disease on them and everything. And all of a sudden, these vines, they just started to turn around and started putting on more green growth. And not only are these plants up and running again and healthy again, I have another watermelon coming on that is clearly pollinated. Super excited about that. I actually think I have 2. These are from 2 different grow bags. So I'm gonna be getting at least 1 more sugar baby watermelon off of these vines that I just knew were dying off. So I am so happy for that blessing. And then here in this grow bag, I was having all of these volunteer plants pop up from food scraps. I initially thought that this was a cucumber, but I'm starting to think this might be a Minnesota muskmelon volunteer plant for my food scraps. So if I end up with another Minnesota muskmelon or 2, that would be wonderful as well. So I'm just so surprised at how many of these vines have bounced back after what I thought was disease clearly about to wipe them out. No, they're still here, still flowering, setting more fruit as we speak. So this is absolutely wonderful. The princess tote here is full of marigolds, So this is still making us very happy here. Um, what else do I want to show? I'll go to the side of the house now, but this is kind of like the overall view of the garden as of right now. Things are very green and putting along, so I'm not mad about that. So let's walk over this way, and these are the red cherry tomato plants that I had put in here. As you can see, they are very tall. They have fallen over, but they are still, they had slowed down in production because of like flower dropping, but now they are starting to set more flowers again, and they're starting to put on more fruits. I need to go ahead and top these though. These are the other volunteer red bikinos that I ended up transplanting and putting into this grow bag. I also have Scarlet Nantes carrots popping up here. Here is one of my Black Beauty eggplants, and I struggled so long with getting these things to take off despite the heat, and they have really stepped their game up. I have one, two, three of these growing, and I have a long purple eggplant that is growing, which I'll be showing you in a second. But if you see down here, there is a Black Beauty eggplant that is coming on here. So this plant is really doing really nicely. These are my beefsteak tomato plants that have not been putting on large tomatoes, but as you can see, these two plants are huge, and I have not been doing anything. I haven't been removing any suckers. I maybe should, or at least top them so they can start setting more fruit. But there are some fruits on here for sure. Lots of flowers still coming on, so I'm super happy about this. I did top that one. That made it all the way to the top up there. The hummingbirds have been sucking down the nectar, so I am gonna refill that after I finish this video. I have also planted some peas over here. The variety of peas that I planted are snowbird peas, or at least that's what the package said. Okay, they came with those beans that I thought were going to be bush beans that were sending out tendrils, but I have some peas up for the fall. Here I have my sweet California Wonder Pepper, and as you can see, I have 3 pepper plants that are growing on here. I had more, but I guess because of the heat or whatever, the weather changing conditions, they dropped a lot of the buds, but I just gave them some food. I gave them some Epsom salt on yesterday, not realizing I should have given those suckers some as well. So I'm hoping now that I've given them Epsom salt, they will start putting on flowers again. I do see a little buddage going on in there, so that's a good sign. You guys, let me tell you about this Cocozelle plant right here. This is the most resilient Cocozelle I have ever seen in my life. This stem bent over and snapped twice, and all I kept doing was tying it back up. And this plant is absolutely huge. If you can see here, there is a female fruit on there. Hopefully it stays with me and gets pollinated. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to, but as I do see some signs of some kind of bug damage. I'm not sure if it's squash vine borer or something else, but it's just the mere fact to me that the fact that this stem bent over and broke 3 times, and all I did was keep tying it back up, and this plant is humongous. So I'm looking forward to see if I end up getting anything off of it. It does keep putting on flowers, so again, if nothing else, it's keeping the bees around and happy right now. I have had so many volunteer cucumbers and things popping up in containers. This is where I took up my mystery tomatoes, and then before I took them out, these volunteer cucumbers popped up. uh, this is one of my jalapenos. I didn't show you guys the one in the back, but it is setting on some really nice fruits. I'm sorry, I can't really get this to focus at the moment, but the plant is nice and healthy. As you can see, I have some beautiful jalapenos that are growing on here, and the plant is just doing well. Cucumbers, I planted a couple of them volunteers in here. Um, Here I planted some radishes that I'm trying to keep covered up, some daikons for the shade. But these cucumbers back here, they're doing really, really well. Over here is my long purple eggplant. And as you can see, I have a long purple eggplant. I actually have two. There's another one on right there. It looks like I got some more flowers that are getting ready to come on. So I'm gonna harvest this today. I'm super excited about that. Uh, I planted some turnips in there again. They keep getting snatched by slugs and snails and things like that. I ended up having to take my green onions out of here because this oregano has completely taken over this grow bag. Here I have some purple dragon carrots planted in this pot that has started coming up. So I'm very excited about that. Over here are just trays of leafy greens that I have started for the fall here. So these things are starting to pop up. This is some lettuce and some arugula that started to pop up. I also have some Swiss chard planted in here, some beets, some broccoli rabe, and what's the other one? Some spinach and some broccoli rabe, spinach, beets, Swiss chard, and lettuces planted here. Here are some bush pickle cucumbers that I planted in here that are up and doing very well here. This is another white Casper eggplant that was looking so well up until a couple of days ago that things want to come and eat. This is another Black Beauty eggplant. Again, these eggplants were so slow to take off, but now that they have, they're looking really good. They're doing really well. An assortment of herbs. In here yesterday, I planted some broadleaf sage. So I'm really happy with the way things are progressing. My basil is still with me. So yes, some basil that I let go to seed here for the bees. I started using my potassium fertilizer from the dandelions. The smell is absolutely wretched, but I'm sure the rewards will be well worth it. So I have absolutely nothing to complain about here. Things are really just, you know, now that things are cooling down a bit and some, a lot of things are turning around. In a month from now, if everything keeps going the way that it's going, I just cannot wait to see how things are going to continue to flourish. But the things I'm most excited about are my sweet potato vines, all of the tomato suckers that I rooted in water that have taken and are doing absolutely beautifully. Like I said, I am going to give those over there a boost of Epsom salt when I get done with this video. This is my other jalapeno plant. Of course, this one was a little slower to start doing anything because I ended up moving this from where it was originally was, so it had to reset itself. But now it's growing. It's got buds and flowers on there. It is starting to produce. Now that is another Black Beauty eggplant here in this corner. As you can see, it is time for me to replace my raised bed, so this will be the last year that I grow anything out of this particular raised bed, at least this one for now. But I'm really excited about my shishito. I love that pepper plant. It's one of my favorite peppers to grow. All of the cucumbers that I have coming on, all of my beautiful marigolds, my stunted yet growing okra. See, there's another plant here, and then there are the two plants that are in here. Again, the plants are healthy, but they're just not very tall, but they are still growing. So we're just gonna watch and see what happens. But I'm just really excited, and I'm really happy for how the things have bounced back. And the fall stuff, normally I'm not excited about fall gardening because every year I try to do a fall garden, it always falls short. But no pun intended. But I decided this year to keep it really simple with things that are really hard to mess up, just by doing a lot of leafy greens. Normally I would have given up on beets as well, but I felt very inspired to try again with beets. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I just wanted to, come back. I knew it had been a while. And so this was a Louisiana green velvet okra that came up in one of my beds. And I just said, okay, I'll just transplant it out of this bed and put it over here in this tire. And it actually took well with the transplant. So maybe by the end of fall, I actually will be picking some green velvet okra from here again. I was so hoping to get some bitter melon, but I just don't think it's in the cards for me this year. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to try again next year with that. But these little hungry caterpillars, man, uh, they just they are just tearing up the leaves on so many little things, but mostly it's just the bean plants. But again, like I said, I think I'm moving away from bush beans because I have had no luck this year. I mean, I could still get some beans, but I think I'm gonna go straight pole beans next year. Because whenever I do like asparagus beans, cowpeas, I never have any problems with doing pole beans. That tomato plant right there is a beefsteak again. The plant looks nice and green and healthy, but it was slow to start putting on flowers. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. I might just let it grow, let it get to the top, and whatever I pick off of it, whether they beef up or not, just take whatever I can get, because I don't want to pull the plant because the plant is nice and healthy. It's just not a very strong, like I thought the stem would have been thicker, but it hasn't been thickening up, but the plant is healthy. So I'm not going to do anything. Some tomatoes are better than no tomatoes at all. And at the rate that I'm currently going, I am looking to have a superb amount of tomatoes by the end of the season here for me to be able to freeze and use in different dishes. So all in all, I could not be happier with how things have turned around. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do with this over here, whether I'm going to let it keep growing or I am going to pull it up. But it just looks so pretty growing up against it despite the damage that has started to show up in the leaves. Maybe it's because of all of the rain or the extreme heat conditions. I'm not sure, but it just keeps flowering. So that makes it really hard to, I think today I'm going to cut these leaves off, and I might just let it keep growing and just cut the bad leaves off as the new leaves keep appearing. So yeah, I'm just, I'm really not, I don't have anything to complain about. I'm not going to complain. I got a lot of food, as you can see, to look forward to coming on here with the way that things are going. So we know how gardening is. This year has been abysmal for a lot of people with their gardens. So considering the fact that I still have a garden, I am absolutely thankful and grateful for all of the foreseeable food here in the near future. So with that being said, until I'm back with the next one, you guys, I will catch you on then. Peace out. Namaste.